You're tuning in to Past Our Prime,
A show powered by Squad Locker.
Here are your hosts, retired Astros minor league star Tip Fairchild and former Patriots All-Pro center Dan Copen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. Episode 16 of Past Our Prime. Coming at you. He's Tip.
Mm-hmm.
That's you.
I'm
and
Tip.
Dan. Mm-hmm. We got some stuff to get to today.
Yeah.
First and foremost, coming up will be former NFL player Will Blackmon, who is now the wine MVP.
Incredible. Like, what a great job to have after, or what a great career to have after you already had a great NFL career.
Yeah. No,
we went to the podcasting. He went to the wine. What do we?
Well,
how
you
do
didn't. I mean, it took you a little bit to
Took
get
me a little while.
to get to the podcast.
It took me 10
I mean,
years.
You
Well,
did
it took me
have
10
another
years
job.
of hard work. Yeah. And then
There's a few other jobs in between mine,
That's right.
but Will was a former teammate of mine at Boston College.
That's right.
So I've known him for a long time. Been friends with him for a little bit, but
what's his new title? How do we say it?
The
You're
wine.
You're going to butcher it.
No,
You're
he's
gonna butcher it.
the sommelier.
Sommelier?
I believe he is an official wine sommelier.
He's like a third class rated something. I was watching something where
But I think
it's all the way. It's like he's like a black belt basically.
Right.
Right. Like he's like
Yes.
as good as it gets basically.
I didn't know that, but
Yeah.
I understand your analogy, and
Right.
yes, I'm going to go with. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So whatever class he had to take, whatever test he had to pass,
He's passing them.
he's a black belt.
That's why we got the wine on the table for the
But it bring-
people that are watching on video. Speaking of which, the bad boys of Podden. That's me and you. And you, Max.
the bad.
You know,
boys.
just if you were looking for some YouTube videos, they're back, baby. Well, can we say YouTube out loud? I'm gonna have to beep that.
Yeah, jeez.
They got pulled down. We got temporarily shut off, but we're back up
What
and
was
running
it?
now.
It was copyright or
I don't know.
licensing?
It wasn't
We don't
even
even
us.
know. We don't. It
Oh, it wasn't
even
us. All right, so we're really not even the
Yeah.
bad boys.
Well, I like to still consider ourselves
It was
bad boys.
partially.
you just want to be Queens Boulevard
partially our fault.
over and over. I am Queens Boulevard.
All I've said the entire week that the videos were down was just when anybody ever had a question to me, it was just I am Queens Boulevard. That's my answer. Just people are so confused by that. They're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I am Queens Boulevard."
Got me.
Just relax. Did you watch Entourage, Max?
Not yet.
That's
Not
it.
yet.
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah,
all the way through.
No,
Yeah,
we
so
watched
good.
it. It was on during training camp, so we used to
Yeah,
get. I
nice.
think it was Sunday nights, right?
Sunday night, and like the HBO thing comes on.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it was that was good. I remember watching that a lot with some of the guys
Mm-hmm.
in New England during training camp. Every Sunday we get together and watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Good show. Always approve.
Speaking about New England, well, first we'll be on next. We'll have a great interview with him. We can't wait. We got some wine to test and everything. So stay tuned if you're wine listeners
See if
for
our,
sure.
see,
Or
see if
wine
our,
listeners,
see if our
wine
noses,
drinkers,
noses
Yeah.
and palates match up. I guess.
Oh, they're not going to,
No.
but it's going to be pretty funny.
But he found his way, so that's good. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
fun to see what he's up to, and
right.
he can educate us.
He definitely can, no question. New England.
You want to start with free agency? Because
My phone won't stop exploding. on Twitter.
It's completely turned around from what it has been in the past, and I gotta say, I really don't give a shit about free agency.
Okay.
I don't until this year. Honestly, it's
Well,
kind
normally
of
there's
fun.
normally there's not much going on. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there yesterday. I'm on a Zoom meeting, and my Slack, which is a program that we use here at Squad Locker, is blowing up, and it's Dan going, "The Patriots are going off right now," or
Yeah.
something. So I look at Twitter, and all of a sudden, I'm 4 people in to like deals that they already had done. 3 or 4 they've already had done. It was in like an hour and a half or something like that. Like Belichick is just spending the bank on this.
Yes, but here's the question. All right, it's the legal in quotes here. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm putting legal in quotes. Legal tampering period. Right.
I don't understand.
So you're not
That
allowed.
sounds
You're
like
not
an
allowed.
oxymoron.
You're
but
not.
yeah.
You're not allowed to talk terms. You're not allowed to talk to players directly, or you're not allowed to talk to agents. It's something along that line. So I don't understand. 5 minutes into the legal tampering period, that you're getting contracts
Deals.
agreed to.
Yeah.
Which is it doesn't make sense in my mind. If you're gonna have a legal tampering period, fine, no problem, but just abide by the rules, right?
Right.
But then it comes out 5 minutes later. It's like, we agreed to
Those
sign.
deals
It's
have
like-
to be already in place.
It's
right?
honestly like in the old days when there was no legal tampering period. Free agency would open up at, let's say, 12 o'clock on March 4th, whatever the start of the league date year was. 12 o'clock in the morning, 12:05. There is releases coming by. This guy signed. This guy signed. Well, what the hell do you think was happening 2 hours, 3 hours before?
Somebody was typing that up already.
So now
around
the
8 o'clock
NFL,
PM.
So now the NFL just, hey, it's legal tampering now, but you can talk to him, but you can't do certain things, but you can still sign him basically or agree to terms. But it's been a whirlwind.
Oh, wouldn't have minded these weapons over the last 5 years with our boy 12. Give him some. I mean, 2 tight ends are the top 2 tight ends in the free agency market, right? I mean, wide receiver coming in. Like,
You got Aguilar and you got the kid Bourne.
Yeah, from
San Fran.
Yeah, so what's going on right now? Like, they're just loading up, and we got a quarterback that can't throw him the ball.
Yeah, if nothing else has taught you anything about this league in the last 5 years, you need the guy slinging the ball.
Yeah.
They don't have that yet. The good thing is, I mean, when you look at Cam's contract, they report 1 year, $14 million. Last year was 1 year, $7 million. He didn't make $7 million last year. He made like 3.8 or 3.9. This year he's probably guaranteed, if he makes the team, to probably make $5, $6, $7 million bucks, which, quite honestly, I don't mind spending that on a backup.
Sure.
But with all the signings, where's the quarterback?
I texted you. I said, I feel there's a quarterback coming. I feel it's got to be like Jimmy G. The name Matt Ryan kept popping in my head the other day or yesterday when all this was happening. I don't know if we can even get him. I don't understand.
I don't know if you can afford Matt Ryan anymore after how much money they've thrown out the door after in the last 24 hours.
Right.
I don't think Matt Ryan's the answer. I wouldn't say Jimmy G isn't. I would think that's still a possibility, but you've already got Cam there. He's an older quarterback who can't throw. But I will say this about Cam. Even though he did not have the success that maybe he once had in his career, he was an MVP at one point, or as much success that the Patriots thought he was going to have coming in, I do like the guy better now. Mm-hmm. Just because, you talk about the Patriot way, which is complete horseshit. I mean, that's just going about and doing your job day to day and doing what is expected, work hard, pay attention, all that stuff. But to come in and take over for the GOAT and to have a good team-minded a way about him and how he even handled his struggles last year, I really, as a person and as a player, I liked him a lot more because I didn't have a chance to talk to him, or not talk to him, but just listen to him, especially when he was Carolina. I didn't really follow Carolina, right?
Yep.
But as a guy, I appreciated him more.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that on another episode.
Did I?
And I thought the same. Yeah.
Because I felt the last time we talked about him, I was like, hey, don't sign him back.
Right, it was. But we talked about how, he wasn't what we thought. He wasn't, in the news too much, right? He's had that kind of thing
that flashiness
from Carolina. Yeah. And he actually, if he could have just completed some passes, I think everybody would have been like, great, let's get him back in, right? And a friend of mine, John.
Because he sure as hell can run the ball. There's no doubt about that.
Right. Well, and John, a friend of mine, and also my accountant, get ready, John, my taxes are coming your way next week, texted me and said, this is all well and good. We got a lot of weapons right now, but, can they catch with their feet?
Yeah.
Because not a lot of balls hit these guys in the hands. It's throw it behind them, throw it too far in front of them, throw it at their feet. So hopefully they are can maneuver.
I have to think that it's coming in the draft. I would say Jimmy G's a possibility. I wouldn't throw that idea out the window yet, but I would think with as much talent that they have upgraded on this team, which is what they needed. You take a look at their talent.
This is reloaded.
I mean, they got safety. They got help in the defensive backs. They got edge rusher. They got help up front. They got 2 tight ends, 2 stud tight ends, and then they add 2 wide receivers, and they're probably not done at this point. I mean, they're still going to spend. They still got money to spend.
Is there going to be something wild that happens where they just unload all the draft picks and get Trevor Lawrence?
Oh God!
Just 7 first rounders and be like,
it would be awesome.
It could happen. We don't know. This is not.
There's no way that's happening. The only reason.
How not?
Hey, I love the idea of it. Jacksonville is not giving up that.
Okay.
Pick.
Well, I mean,
that's the only reason.
But here's the way I look at it, though. This has never happened before. All these picks, right? Like, or all these free agency pickups. Like, this is not how Belichick normally does it. So maybe he's thinking, like, I'm going to go grab a guy for 3 years. So I don't care if we have draft picks in the next 7 years.
Right.
I'm unloading these things. We're going to make one run.
Well, I heard someone talk about this the other day. Free agency is about needs, right? You fill your needs that you have. The draft is about taking the best player available.
Okay.
So the draft could be where they go and get that quarterback.
Yep.
Now, I would say, I don't think they've made as big of splashes in the past as they did this year. But you take a look at, 06 offseason? We lost to the Colts, I believe. Yeah, we lost to the Colts. 05, I want to say 06, right? When did Randy and West come in?
I only remember the wins.
I want to say Randy and West came in the 06 after that season. So 07 was their first year?
If that was their first year, that was you were loaded that year.
Max, can you check that out? When did Welker?
Yeah, Max will look it up.
So if they came in, I know we lost to the Colts in the AFC Championship game, the 05 season. So that would have been 06 calendar year, right?
Yep.
06, we lost to
2007.
No.
That says here.
See, we're going to go back. Now I got
we're
this.
going
05,
I would have bleeped out 07 in my mind if I was you, but
05 we lost to Denver. At Denver in the playoffs. 06, we lost to the Colts in the AFC Championship game. We bring in 07 calendar year. Now we're coming 07. Before 07 season, Welker, Randy Moss. We probably brought in Stallworth at that point too.
Yeah, but remember what you also already had on the team was a quarterback that was pretty able.
That's true. That's true, but that was a consistent for 20 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So look, the money always gets bigger. Right? And the guys that are signing contracts, God bless them. I will never, ever.
Boy, the guaranteed money is wild. This is not normal either because the guaranteed money is always baseball money, the basketball money. That's all guaranteed. There's more of it in the NFL right now.
Oh, it's
definitely gone way different, right?
It's definitely gone up, and they are getting a Joe Tooney, 5 years, $80 million, $16 million a year. Holy shit! And he was franchised last year, so he made another 15 on that.
Big bucks. What about the wild one? Well, Drew Brees retired, right? Which I think we kind of saw that coming. He looked like it when he looked into the stands after the last game. Kind of felt that coming. Also, kind of felt he was going to the booth. I always thought I thought he was going to the booth for sure. So, what about Tyson Hill's contract?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
$140 million for 4 years or something, 5 years. But then they void it, and it's a way to save cap space. Talk about games that you NFL people play.
Yeah, well, they have to because one, there's a cap, and two, not everything's guaranteed.
So they basically give him money and then say your contract's voided next year, though.
Yeah,
even though he's due to make $45 million.
Yes, basically, it's based on if he wins the job and he's the quarterback of the future.
Wild.
And that
I would be using that collateral to do a lot of things. I'd be buying houses, vehicles, everything. Be like, look, bank, there's 140 coming. Let's open up the wallet.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to get a loan. You've got to be into a contract for 3 years to get a loan right now with the way it is. But I will say they are much better off. And they are the winners clearly by free agency this year. But, I mean, it was a perfect storm, right? They had so much cap space. The cap number came down from last year. They had something in reserves that they had to use anyway.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there second most cap space when a lot of guys are, fighting to stay below that number where it is. Yep. And Bill is just getting his, emperor.
Oh, boy. The dun, 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 dun.
He wants to bring the evil empire back.
Oh, baby. He is getting after it, which I love. I mean, by the time this podcast is over, we should probably check our phones because I bet something else has happened. Baseball also. Spring training starting. We talked about this. We texted on it, Dan. The Texas Rangers, plan on opening day, which I think opening day is a little bit delayed, though. It's more beginning of May is when MLBs open up this year. Opening day, sellout crowd.
Love it.
No restrictions on fans.
Love it.
So they said, I think their place holds 44,000. They said there's going to be 44,000 there.
I love it.
So they're going after it. There's places that are doing it like wide open. It is fun right now. And we've talked about this a bunch because like we were, when we first started the podcast, like there was no fans anywhere.
Yep.
Pretty much. Like there was some places that started to have it. But I tell you, like watching golf this weekend was great.
Yeah.
Fans,
Crowds
and they were
are
only
back.
25% occupancy, I think they said. Mm-hmm. But it felt like there was 1 million people there because we've been watching this with just the people watching, just the people that are working at the course and maybe some agents and some maybe like super close family. That's it. So it was great, like seeing a putt and like seeing some, emotion and then hearing like people clapping.
No doubt.
It was really different though. I will say it was strange.
It's getting back to normal.
It feels like it.
Which is good because that we had that drought right after football season. There's nothing on.
No, there's a month that
Now
really
is it's basically
really rough.
Selection Sunday, it's like it starts to turn back on.
Yep.
Free agency, which I didn't really care about, but the Patriots are making splashes right now, which is fun.
Yep.
But now is one of the best months to come for sporting events.
It starts rolling.
Or 3
now.
weeks, whatever it is.
It starts rolling because
March Madness,
Masters, Kentucky Derby rolls into the beginning of May. Normally you have the beginning of baseball, which is like going to be right around that time too. So all that stuff is happening.
Playoff hockey,
right?
It's all
kind of happening right then, which is fun. I always remember that first week in May. We mentioned this the other day on the podcast. It's so cool because there's so much going on, and it feels like I'm excited. Remember, today's the 16th, Max? This was the day that everything kind of stopped last year.
Yep. Right around
because
there.
I was looking at the sales graph numbers, and we're up like 9,000% today because there wasn't anything going on, this time last year. We got a full, pretty much, office like kind of full of people starting to pile in. Like, there's a lot of youth sports that are playing now too, just like all these athletics are happening here. So it's fun to see a difference, I guess, because it's been a long full year now. We're at a full year. I put some miles on the tires. Not my vehicle because I hardly drove, but in terms of the body.
Yeah.
And the Peloton.
But for March last year, I don't think I even filled up my gas tank for a month or
June 1st, I ran my
amazing.
numbers, and I filled up twice.
We're getting
last year. It was wild.
It's getting back to normal. Are we going to fill?
Yes.
We should fill out a bracket. And you want to go 100 on it?
That's a really good idea. Yeah, let's do 100 on a bracket.
100.
Let's do one. I don't want to have to count it, though. Let's do one that's online.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. CBS.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We could do that.
$100 on a bracket. So, Max, write that bet down. That's another one coming. We'll do a
it.
bracket, and we'll post that.
Yeah.
We'll see how many games you hit. And then maybe we should do we'll do a little betting with the spread, too.
That's going to be a given regardless.
That happens no matter what.
My whoop is going to be really pissed at me on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night.
Stats are looking good
Thursday,
right now.
Friday,
Tell you what,
Saturday.
it's forcing me to get to bed a little bit earlier. I'm getting a little bit more sleep.
You went to the doctor today, huh?
I did. I had a physical today. So
How's your vein?
I had double pokes today, both arms, because we blew the first vein right in half. So there was a blood splatter on the floor. The girl missed the vein, I think, or it might have gone straight through it. It felt like straight through it. It felt like straight through my Tommy John, too, because it was on my right elbow. And then the other lady came running around the corner like, we got to blow out. I was like, that's reminds me of the movie, was it Armageddon?
Yeah.
when the pipe bursts. Great. Can we bandage that one up? Let's get the other one, please.
What does Tommy John feel like? Because I think I have it right now.
Oh, no, you don't.
I'm not even joking. Like, we went out. We actually on Friday. It was really nice.
Play golf.
It was really nice.
Saturday.
No, it was Friday.
Friday.
It was
Saturday.
Which is it?
It was Saturday. Saturday, we went out and played golf. Walked around for probably 2 hours. And I'm not kidding you. It feels like my elbow is going to fall off right now.
Really? Oh, it's inside, too.
It's inside. It's underneath. When I go like
tennis
this,
elbow.
it feels... Yeah, God, I don't want tennis elbow.
Yeah. No, it's just so whenever I start the golf season,
because I haven't been using those muscles, right?
Yeah, you usually have some tweaks and some pulls, and like my right pinky is mangled, then that thing gets to be all sore because it's my interlock finger. But then eventually it goes away. And I always say, oh, this is the year I'm not going to be able to do it because my pinky's broken. And then like 3 days later, it's better. Right. So it's coming your way.
I got to tell you,
Tommy John, though, is on the inside. The big thing for the people watching on video, YouTube, I guess we could say, right? If you do the alligator in the elevator move, this thing right here, you can't do this if you need Tommy John, just so we know.
All right, so I'm good.
So you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
The upside down O on your eyeball move. You can't do this if you need to get the Tommy John done.
We're good.
That could be a myth, but it's pretty accurate.
Is that like the if your
Because
hand
when
is
mine-
as big as your face, you have cancer joke?
When mine was broken, it was like when mine was broken, it was like this. I like couldn't even turn mine over, and I was like, or broken. When it was torn, it was like this, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like fighting so hard.
Keep
I was
going.
like-
Keep going. If you can
I was
get
like,
there.
"No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I can do it." Yeah. So
I feel a lot better than I did when I was playing, but
Yeah.
God damn, some mornings I get up and there's some pains. So
Yeah.
where did this come from?
yeah, it's swinging. You didn't play a new sport. I will tell you though, I took a picture. We both took a video because we were sending it to Jay Cutt, our last guest. He's doing some video work for us. I took a picture of Dan. Maybe the best picture ever taken of Dan.
It might be the best picture ever taken.
First of all,
flattering.
it's a great swing. First of all, like his swing looks great, and we put it up on the Instagram. We'll repost it, maybe Max. It might have been a story, so maybe we'll
put
post
it
it
up
on the
post.
Instagram. Great looking swing.
It's better.
You're in great position.
It's better.
By the way, though, you look like you're 118 pounds.
I'm telling you, the challenge
It helped.
has helped.
It's got a lot of the weird fat out of the way for us, I think.
Yeah, I
You
like
know?
weird fat. Yes.
Like the back, this thing, like around the shoulders, like all that stuff. And then you were bending over, teeing a ball
I
up.
feel good. I feel
And-
good. My goal is to work out or do something every day, hopefully more than an hour. But I want to win. I want to win the weekdays, right?
Win the days.
And it all comes back to intake. Hey, what you're putting
right.
in your body, calories versus what you're burning off. So I want to win the weekdays, and I want to win one weekend day.
oh, if
If I can do that
6 out of 7 days, you're
consistently,
winning.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
So-
I mean, you should not. I mean, for what we did last month on the bike, I mean, we were definitely winning those days. But it is, if you're riding that bike and you're doing your stuff and you're doing a workout or two, it's actually kind of, if you eat, like, if you just pay attention a tiny bit, it's tough to eat more calories than we were burning.
Yeah.
And that's all you need. You need the deficit, the calorie deficit.
Yes.
Right?
Still goes back to food.
So it goes back to food, no question. Can't be a bag of cinnamon rolls. You know, it's got to be like good food.
You good?
I'm good. I'm ready to go to Will.
Because
I
I'm
think
ready to
that's-
go to wine.
I'm ready to go to wine. Are you ready to go to wine?
Yeah, let's bring in Will.
Let's do it.
All right, we got Will Blackmon joining us here. How do you like that announcer voice? Oh, Will Blackmon.
Yeah, you're going right into it. I like it.
I'm gonna go former NFL player, the wine MVP, which we will talk about, and he's pouring wine right now, which is
Yes.
always a good thing. But most importantly, and this will lead into my first question because I've actually always thought about this for probably about 20 years.
Okay.
A Boston College grad, so we were teammates for a year. I was a fifth year probably, and then you were a freshman, I think. Will.
Yep.
All right. So you know how we
Wait,
used to-
02 was your last year, right?
02 was my last year. So we were
Yeah,
for
correct.
1 year. You know how, like, when you have rookies come in or freshmen, right? You have them come up and, hey, sing your.
Oh shit, I'm nervous.
No, you're good, man. This is good. You sing your fight song, or you do a skit, or you tell a joke, right? You know, it's probably called hazing right now, which you don't do, but it's more of like an orientation, initiation. Hey, welcome to
Yeah.
the group. Training camp sucks. Entertain us, type of thing, right? I'm not even joking. Some of them were really bad. Some of them were really good. There is only one that stood out in my mind for 20 years, and that is this man.
Wow. What was it?
He
Does
is-
he have a great voice, or like what's the
No,
deal?
no. What he
No.
did? Do you remember what you did?
Yeah.
You freestyled, right?
No, I read a poem. Yeah.
Was it a poem or?
Yeah,
was
I
it-
didn't. It was a
It was a
freestyle,
poem?
but It was a
It was a
poem.
fr-
It was a poem about my mom, so no one could boo it.
No,
That's a
no.
really
hey,
good idea. That's a
but-
great idea.
What I remember though at the end was you were All-American Gatorade player in Rhode Island, small state, right? But you could have went anywhere you wanted for college,
No, for sure. I played in the Army game. I was first team USA Today. Like
right?
everything. Yeah, for sure.
So when you were coming to BC, that was a big deal for BC
Yeah.
to get a recruit of this stature.
Mm-hmm.
So you came in, you did the poem. I remember more of a freestyle. Again, memory not that clear. But at the end of it, you basically said, I could have went anywhere, but fuck them. I'm going to go here. I'm going to make it anyway. Right?
That's you know what's so funny?
Is
Did
that
you nail
it?
it?
Is that it?
It don't sound like me, but I probably did say something like that. But I was probably mad because Dave Schoenfeld made me wear that nasty ass Revolution helmet. I'm still mad about that. Oh, those were so bad.
The whole thing, I mean, we have Reebok uniforms. It was, I mean, it wasn't a good thing, but a guy that comes in and it just sort of rallied the troops. And we had a good year, a good team that year. But honestly, it was like, hey, it made us feel better. It's like, you know what, this kid could have went anywhere, but he chose to come here. He liked what he saw here. He liked the team that we had. Yep. And then, you come out and you do that lyrical thing or whatever, spoken word. Let's call it spoken word, right?
Yeah, and I was the only. I think me and Eunice were the only ones that played as true freshmen. So we actually did play together. Like I played my freshman year. I was 17. That's wild. I was 17 year old freshman.
Yeah, that's your permission slip signed to be able to play.
Exactly. No, seriously, I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was. I'll tell you what. The most embarrassing thing though, my freshman year was, like when we first came in as freshmen, we had to do the 225 rep test. I did like half a rep, and I just remember guys like, who the fuck is this dude? I said, look, I play football, guys. I don't lift many weights.
No, the rep test wasn't the hard part for bigger guys. It was the first time when you come in as a freshman and you have to run the conditioning test, which at the time was the 300, but it was a 300 yards. It was 25, which is harder than 15, right?
By far, that was the 300-yard shuttle is by far the most difficult conditioning test for a football player ever. By far.
And you got to do it twice. Close. And you got to average the time.
Pads or no pads?
No pads.
No
but
pads.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It does not. It is. You were like, so if it's 25 yards, you got to turn 12 times. The lactic acid that builds up in your legs going back.
Feel it?
Oh, my, it is.
Yeah.
Guys at the end of it, on the first one, the second one, guys are falling over the line just trying to get past the test. And I don't, did you pass the test?
You're dizzy. Did I pass?
Did you pass it? The first year?
No question. Yeah. I was a runner, so I passed it, but I did not. My legs were cement though. At the end of the day, that was awful. The worst thing too was
it's a miserable day for everybody.
Well, the worst thing for DBs is that we get to the line and it's a goddamn race now. So we supposed to come in at like 50. I don't know, 55 was our time, right. 56. Guys are coming in at 51. I'm like, guys, let's just pass the test. Like, what are we doing?
Exactly. We don't need any All-Americans here in the practice field. Come on.
Did you guys, did you have the same person taking your tests at BC? Or in terms of grades, because you guys both seem pretty smart here. Was it somebody taking your test for you there, or did you guys?
I was the idiot that decided to major in English. That was my fault. So.
And I was the idiot who decided to major in accounting.
Yeah, you guys are no joke. We keep bringing these guys on that are smart.
I honestly, I think I was just too lazy or dumb to go change my major. I was like, I'll just suffer.
I'll
through
just grind it out and do applied math all day.
It's funny because getting recruited, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be that. I want the Boast, the Bethel. I want the a strong school academically, and they're in the Big East. So I want both. And then it's funny that by the time draft boards started coming out, I was like, I majored in football really. Like,
yeah. No, it's kind of hard when you're there. I mean, it's hard to do both. There's so much time devoted to football.
I'm telling people, they did not cut us slack. It is not like that. I know BC wasn't like a Alabama, but I'm just saying, like, when the teachers didn't really care.
Nope.
Period. If I
remember, I don't think the teachers went to the games.
They did not. They didn't even know anything. So I remember we were playing Pitt. This is my second year, so you were gone, and my matchup was Larry Fitzgerald that week.
Oh, that's a good one.
I had a paper, and I had to read 2 novels and I had a paper due that week. And I literally asked her, like, look, like, can I get some kind of like leadway or an extension? She goes, it's only Monday. I was like, trust me, I'm going to need the extension because I got to get ready for this. She's like, I don't get it. No. So, I had a double duty.
Yeah, that's not an easy task.
I had to read Wuthering Heights. And get ready for Fitzgerald.
Yeah, what's tougher? Is it reading that or was it guarding Larry Fitzgerald? That's a tough task.
I look forward to defending Fitzgerald. I don't look forward to reading any novels.
Got it.
How about playing both ways in college? I mean, you were one of the few that were able to do it. Wide receiver, and then you played D-back. But you were kick returner, punt returner, all that good stuff.
Yeah, at one point I was charting like 100 snaps a game, man. Like, it was crazy. I ended up losing like 20 pounds one season because afterwards I was too tired to eat. But it was a deal I struck with Coach O'Brien, man, because after my junior year we graduated everybody. Grant Adams, Joe Hazard, every receiver we had graduated, and I remember I just saw the report like, oh, I could potentially be a day one pick for a defensive back. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then Coach Brian called me into the office. He's like, hey, man, we're looking at the offensive side of the ball, and, we were thinking of like, would you consider trying out receiver? And I said, hell no. Like, I was like, absolutely, there's no way. And I left. Then he called me in another day, like, to talk about it. I'm like, look, man, like, I have no desire to do that. Like, I don't want to go to offense. But I started thinking about it more, and I was like, we have guys that have great hands, but the only person that was really like super dangerous was the punt returner in the corner, and it was me. And I like to win. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get drafted, but there's a bunch of guys on the team where just getting to another bowl game and winning that's gonna be it for them, and then they're gonna go on and do what they want to do. So I was like, you know what? I said, I will try it out in spring ball. Okay, that was the deal. I said, I'll try it in spring ball, and I'm thinking like, I'll try it, maybe do some slot stuff, still play corner. No, I try it out and I win the damn X job. The X job is the dude. Okay, like
that's a good way.
You're taking the top off the defense.
Yeah, like X is you're there every snap. You're the guy, and so I won the starting X job, the number one receiver, and I'm like, gosh. I said, okay, can I still play defense though? He was like, yeah. I was like, but I want to like, how can we work this out? He said, well, maybe like situational. So like I came in like third downs. Or remember the first game we played BYU, I had a shadow Todd Watkins, their number one receiver, and I still did all the returns and all that stuff. So it was cool. And it also didn't hurt to have, Matt Ryan throwing you the football. That made it easy for me.
Well, it's got to help you out too with the not the recruiters, but the scouts and all that stuff. Hey, this guy's a team player. He's putting his personal, stuff aside, his dreams or whatever, his goals. Obviously, you're a defensive back and you want to play defensive back, but you're helping the team and you're showing a different skill set.
Dude, it was wild. It hurt my draft stock tremendously.
Right.
But it helped me play 12 years, and I had the craziest pre-draft situation. So I played, receiver my senior year. I go to the Senior Bowl as a corner. I go to the NFL Combine as a receiver. So after the Combine, I do all the receiver drills. And then I remember that the guy took me to the middle of the field at Indianapolis. And he's like, on the microphone, does anybody want to see Will Blackmon do defensive back drills? All the coaches raised their hand. Mm-hmm. So I stayed, when everyone was done, I did the whole receiver combine. And then I had my own defensive back combine by myself right there in front of the coaches. And then I have my meetings. I meet with the Packers, who want me as a receiver. I meet with the Bengals, who want me as a corner. And this is where I made the decision. So I met with the Atlanta Falcons in the hallway, and the guy came up to me. He was like, yeah, man, we really like you at receiver. Because everyone's like, what did you want to play? And I'm like, I could do both, whatever you want. So the guy in Atlanta was like, yeah, we see you as a receiver, and, if you're there after the draft and free agency, we're going to come get you. I was like, I'm playing DB. Yeah. if that's what you guys evaluate me as a receiver, I'm gonna play DB. So then I started telling everybody I want to play defensive back. So, but it hurt me because I did a lot of things. I didn't master one position. You draft guys in the first round because they mastered their position. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, but it helped me because I played 12 years, because what happened was the further along I got, I understood the whole secondary. So sure, I can start at nickel, I can start at dime, start at corner, start at safety, start at wherever. I got to start everywhere. So that's what helped me out. What about,
if you're playing, receiver that long, what about just like the mental side of it and helping you prepare? Now you know what routes are coming out of what formations and all that stuff. So as a defensive back, they come out, you're already one step ahead.
Exactly. Right. So it actually helped me
in the long run. Yeah.
It helped me even more when I went to receiver, because, when we moved to the ACC, everybody runs a 4-3, right? And so everyone, they want to play press on you, get on you. And I knew that playing defensive back, if I'm playing press man, and soon as the receiver stacks me, means puts me directly behind him, I can't do anything about it. So I knew exactly where guys were. I knew the issues. I knew all the holes. I knew everywhere to go.
Yep.
And it did help me going back on defense because I wasn't really my problem was in football. If I can go back and do anything different at Boston College, I would have studied better. I was a terrible student in terms of watching film. I had a high IQ because I was obsessed with football. I knew the game, but to study and prepare, and what really helped me, and I still talk to this guy to this day, is Coach Bible. Mm-hmm. You did not play if you weren't a student on his offense, period. If you did not know like where this block was going to be, if you didn't run this route at 10 yards, if you didn't speed cut at 5, if you did not motion down 2 yards from the end line, like you weren't playing. So he really made me and helped me be a student of the game, which turned into like me having better study habits when I played in the NFL.
With, between receiver and DB, I mean, we got to probably know this stat. Like, we probably don't know, but I'm sure we can figure it out, right? What one has more longevity? Like, is a receiver play longer in the NFL? Like, just if you picked a position, does this person play 3.1 years and this one plays 4.1 years?
I don't know the numbers. I don't know the numbers, but my guess would be defensive back.
Plays a little longer. Yeah,
I would assume so because one, I feel like they're more utilized on special teams too. That's where I think they have the advantage. And two, playing receiver, you're not guaranteed to have a good quarterback.
Right.
That's a huge deal. A lot of guys end up doing well on one team with a good quarterback and go somewhere else and they just disappear.
Don't get the ball.
So,
right.
When you go to the Packers, who's the one guy that you sort of just like tagged along with? Like, I want to learn from you.
Oh, well, I mean, shoot, dude, this is going to sound crazy embarrassing, but I remember my wallpaper was Charles Woodson when he was in Michigan on my computer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was out there, too.
I think it was my wallpaper. I love Charles
Woodson. So when I got drafted, he was their big free agent signing that same year. So I remember, first of all, I go into the cafeteria and I mean, I see Favre, which was like crazy to me I'm like, shoot.
Was he making $16 million at that point?
No, he actually found like I think he found like $4 million in his locker of like checks he would just throw in there. He just found it. I'm like, oh, that's cool, But I remember I sat I sat in the way back in the cafeteria. I didn't know anybody. I knew the guys I got drafted with, but I was like, I'm just gonna sit here. And I remember I see Charles like come in. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like this Charles Woodson. So he gets his tray, his food, and he's walking, looking for a seat. And he keeps passing up tables, and he's walking like straight towards me. I'm like, oh shoot, like he's gonna come sit over here. You know what I'm saying? And I remember he got close, and I literally just cleared the desk and the table. I'm like, man, you can sit right here. I think I knocked over like 6 salt shakers. I'm like, yeah, right here, man. I was like, you know what? Just take my seat. I'm gonna go sit over here. Yeah. But no, he sat down. He was super cool, and the coolest thing is that he was this like great, amazing superstar, but he was different in terms of like I was expecting Charles Woodson to have like a crazy car, crazy clothes and jewelry, and it just wasn't that which was crazy because I remember I went in the parking lot, I left afterwards, and he was trailing a little bit, and I was like, okay, I want to see what this guy drives. Like I know he has something pretty crazy, and he gets into like this. It was like a 06, like maybe a 05 Chevy Blazer, and I was like, what? I was like, wow. Hey, I was like, he's probably saving his money. He's probably saving his money. I try to justify it.
He's got to get through the Green Bay Winters. That's what he's got to get through.
Yeah, he's snow tires.
But even like he would cut his own hair. Like he didn't go to the barbershop, and he cut his own hair. He was super chill. But that's what I also found out, that he had investments elsewhere, so he was like living it up, but in a different way. So that was pretty cool to see that. I'm like, okay, that's what it looks like to really be humble and be on top.
How long were you with him when he was at Green Bay?
4.
Yeah. So I mean, so you learned a lot then.
Because here this was the main turning point, right? I mentioned where Coach Bible really helped me understand offense, and I remember Coach Bible's famous saying, if the bodies are laying north and south, that's how you know it's a good play, baby.
Yeah.
Right?
All I remember him saying is 66 booster in meetings.
Booster. Everybody on the sideline, booster all day long. And you guys like, oh, here we go again.
Here we're going again. No, we love that shit. If we're gonna run all day, that's the play to call. We loved all that stuff.
That's for sure. And so I remember my first 2 years, one, I dealt with a lot of injuries, but I wasn't making any plays on the field. You know, I'm just trying to be like super athletic and put myself in position, just being the athlete I am. But when you get to the NFL, Tip, everyone's a mutant, right? That's my whole thing. I say everyone's a mutant. And the difference is it's situational football. That's all it is. Everybody wants the same plays. Everybody wants the same stuff. It's just like, how do you, like the timing, the situations, how do you set up and defeat your opponent? And obviously you being in New England, that's situational masters. That's all it was, you know? And so I'm like, gosh, I need to figure this out because otherwise I'm not going to play long, you know, because you can't just make plays naturally. So I decided I'm just going to take the onus and just go, you know what? I'm going to come back to the facility and try to learn how to watch this damn tape. So I come back to the facility. It was like 7:30 at night, maybe 8 o'clock. And as I get into get closer towards our meeting room, I see a fluorescent light on, like as if somebody left the projector on. So I go into the room and I look, and it's Charles. He's in there. And the crazy thing about this, at this time, Charles never practiced. He never came outside for practice. He'd come through for walkthrough, and then he would leave.
God, that's the life, though.
And then he would have like maybe a 7-pick season, you know, 8-pick season. Like it was unreal. And when I came in, he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "Come have a seat," you know. So we had like a stadium style meeting room. So he was on top. I sat, you know, the lower section. And he was like, I'll show you some stuff, you know, and he was going through, he was like, listen, it's down and distance, it's splits, it's formations, it's, you know, like what time is it 2 minutes before the half, 2 minutes after the half? Like what does the coordinator like to do?
Where are they on the football field?
Yeah, all these little things. And just a little nugget he gave me, he was like, look, if I see this one play show up like 3 times on film, like same formation, same area, same route, whatever, he said, in the game, if I see it, I'm jumping it, period. I'm going to play my chances. You got to take your chances. I'm not afraid to get beat on something. And I thought that was super cool. And then when I turned on the light, Dan, let me tell you, the whole grease board looked like he was trying to create a new, like a vaccine or some shit, dude. Like it was, I mean, I seen X's and O's everywhere. He made a game plan within the game plan. And I'm like, damn, like that's what it is. Right. Like that's what it is. It is all about the film study. I didn't really learn how to watch film truly until like year 5, you know, and that's what really saved my career was because then the game slowed down. Your body's not getting torn up so much. There's a famous quote that Kevin Mathis told D'Angelo Hall. He said, D Hall, we're on the streets, you run a 4-1, right? He said, I run a 4-5. He said, but I guarantee you I'll get to that spot before you do. Mm-hmm. He said, because I know what's coming. Yep. That was it for me.
There's definitely a point, especially when you learn how to watch film, but it's so important on the football field that you're not thinking too much. Because if you're thinking, you're playing slow, right? And everything out there is so fast and reactionary that you have to be able to, almost like dance with it a little bit. There's a rhythm out there that you have to go. And if you don't have that game speed, you're screwed.
It's choreography. It for sure is. Like you said, you have to be ahead. And so it's funny you say that because that's eventually how I started studying, just like a typical week of studying what I really mastered and the game was like just natural to me. It's one, I had to learn how to watch film and like it. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. I would just watch it, follow the ball, and be like, oh, this guy is good. But to really watch it and like it and where you could find little things. So Monday, and you can chime in, Dan, like whatever's different for you. Monday, we're reviewing the game plan. We kind of introduced a new team afterwards. Tuesday was usually our day off. But Tuesday is also where I would watch film according to the game plan. So I know Wednesday was first and second down. So Tuesday, I would watch the first and second down cut-ups so that I'm a step ahead on what we're going to go over on Wednesday. So we watch that on Wednesday, and then I'll review practice, and then I'll watch third down because Thursday we're going to go over third down and so on. And, same thing Thursday.
Every week it's the same.
Every single week. Yep. And then by Saturday, because Friday night, I'll take Friday night off, take my wife out to dinner or something, hang with the kids. But Saturday, I'll finally put together, I'll watch an entire game. And now I'm like looking at situations. Oh, it's first down, 1st and 10, or it's 2nd and 9. They're probably going to run it to get a manageable 3rd down. Oh, it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10. Probably going to throw a dig. They're on the plus 40. They're on the 50-yard line, and I see max protection. They're going to take deep shots. It became like that.
Yep.
It was crazy, and that was the fun part.
The best is that you're watching the full game, because I always found if you're watching clips, especially on the Tuesday, Wednesday, whether you're doing it as a team, as a position group, or as an individual, if you just watch clips, you're seeing nothing but highlights. All the good stuff. They're not really putting in the bad things. So you may be going against an average player in the league, which is still really good. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but you're watching all of the best plays. So your week is going to be mentally miserable the whole week, like, oh God, this guy's really good. But if you watch the whole game and you watch how it flows, it's like, oh, wait a minute, this guy's not He-Man every goddamn play.
10% of the time or 20% of the time.
Or you see why those big plays happen.
Yeah.
You see, okay, how did they get in that position to create that big play? They probably did something like, I don't know, like I know teams would keep throwing slants, throw slants, and and all of a sudden they hit you with a sluggo. They was setting something up all game long, or whatever it was. And so you get to see like, now it makes sense why this play happened, why this thing happened, why all these things. And then you have your outliers where they're super hard to study for, guys like Aaron Rodgers, guys like Patrick Mahomes, or even Matt Stafford, because now Josh Allen, they can throw the ball from wherever. Those are the hard ones to study for.
Yeah.
1st and 10, they going all goes. Like you just never ever know. So, but I enjoy that part, and that's why, I just came from the field. I get contracted by agents to help their guys get ready for the combine or the whatever it is, pro days and drafts. And also now the pro guys are back. So I do a lot of like film work, because I'm like, this is it. If you guys figure this part out now and learn how to take care of your bodies, those are the 2 most important things to make you have a long career.
Do you do some stuff here too? Well, do you come back to Bishop Hendrick and all? I know we've got a ton of people that, listen that went to Bishop Hendrick. I know that for sure, but also just Bishop Hendrick, for those who don't know, I mean, it's a factory of athletes in Rhode Island, not just football. I mean, baseball. Were you there with like Baldelli? He was probably around your time, right? So lots.
Who was by far probably the best athlete I have ever seen.
Yeah, volleyball. He was like an unbelievable volleyball player, right?
No, he got a full ride in basketball, track, baseball, and volleyball.
Yeah, it's wild. Wild. I mean, just an absolute stud athlete.
Where do you want to go? Which one do you want to play?
I'll tell you where a lot of guys pick. They pick baseball because it's guaranteed money.
So he goes number 6 overall.
Yeah, number 6 overall. That's not bad either.
Yeah, not bad. So do you come back here at all? Because I know that Bishop Hendricken, just again, there's lots of guys that come back. There's lots of athletes around all the time. Lots of pro guys.
Quiddy Payne's going first round this year too,
Yeah,
right?
No
He's out of
question.
10 or 15.
Yeah, he is, no question. Yeah, so the thing is, I live out west, so it's hard for me to come back, especially with my own family, especially what's going on now. But yeah, I usually, to make sure I do come back every year, I do have the football camp that I do every year, the Will Blackmon football camp. Mm-hmm. And also the Blackmon Raleigh Combine too. The football camp is free every year. We usually get like between 200 to 300 kids there, and it's just a situation where I feel like it's my duty to come back.
Yep.
The first NFL player I ever met was probably Will Green. Because he came back to school to check everyone out. I never met a pro player in my entire life. And so to be from an area where it's not that accessible, I do that. And part of my coaching staff is, unless like, Dan lives in Rhode Island, so I'm gonna call him, or guys who live in the area that I play with, I would say 95% of my coaches are players from Rhode Island that played in college or maybe did play professional. Yep. And the reason is because I wanted to make it relatable, like I wasn't here getting special privileges. Like I went to Isaac Hopkins in Providence, that's right next to Chad Brown, where a lot of stuff went down, which is next to the police station. I sat in these seats. I went to all these schools and lived in Providence and Cranston. So I'm from right here. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys were from different areas. So that's the cool thing about it, man. And we're having discussions right now to, see how we can get it done this year, because I think it's super important. And then the Blackmon Raleigh Combine happened because it's the same situation. Like for me to get noticed, nobody was coming to Rhode Island at all.
Right.
And I went to, at the time, my brother Leon was at Boston College, and his roommate was actually Saravo.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, and Mike was like, "Hey, I heard your brother's actually pretty good." And how old is he? He's like 13. He said he should check out the BC camp, which was by far the best place on the BC football camp. There was nothing like it on earth. And I ended up, getting the brochure, showed it to my dad. My dad racked up some money, sent me out there, and I just went there and just took advantage of every opportunity. It was funny because every catch I made happened to be in front of Coach O'Brien, and he would just talk so much trash to me the whole time. I'm a 13-year-old kid, and I made a catch. He was like, "You're nothing. Like you ain't nothing, junior." And then what's crazy is, I was a rare case, but my first day of homeroom, my sophomore year, I was 14, and BC was my first offer, But my point is that I had to go out to places. I got invited to Nike camp. We drove 6 hours to Syracuse to go to the Nike camp. Like I had to go out. So now that I had a bunch of resources, I'm like, how can I find a way to like bring them here and to help guys get noticed? So that's the whole premise of that whole weekend. And then now I'm here. I get to hang out with my family, go to my brother's house, see my sister, and all that stuff. So I do try to get back. I do miss home, but I am the rebel. I left.
The weather's a little better.
Yeah, you got nice weather out there. Where you can wear that type of shirt. Where Dan and I are still like bundled up out here in the Northeast.
It's cold. It's cold as shit.
Were you
right
a
now.
Patriots fan growing up all along?
I was not. I was not a Patriot fan. I was not a
like Red Sox. I mean, did you?
I ended up liking the Red Sox. I ended up liking the Celtics, but I just didn't. I don't know.
Who'd you like? Did you like
we didn't
anybody?
have a crazy football house.
Did you like anybody in the NFL, or just you just like to watch it?
I like Barry Sanders.
Okay,
like he was my favorite.
So you rooted for players. We talked about this the other day. Sometimes, like when you're out of the game, I find like now we root for players more than teams because maybe you're like, I know this person or like I want to see that person succeed rather than being like, I'm a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
It's more like who you know now. So you were doing that before even. You were like, I like watching Barry Sanders.
Even now, I think I played for all 32 teams, so I really have no loyalty to anyone.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's more the guys.
Hey, it happens to everybody, buddy.
Hey,
it doesn't really. 12 years in, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I love it, dude. We got super culture. We got to live different places. My kids, like, they know how to make friends wherever they go now, so it's all good.
Which place did you like the best?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We got Washington, Seattle. Seattle's pretty cool.
Seattle was cool, but I barely spent time there. That was a great place just because, I feel like they understood it from like a player-friendly perspective, and the city was awesome. Green Bay was awesome for football because I'm a big historian. Like I love watching the old school like VHS, NFL films with John Facenda and Steve Sabol. Like I was Sam Spence, composer. Like I know those little details from the credits, man. Like I was on it. So to be there and to see, I think my first week, Bart Starr just stopped by to have like some eggs and bacon. I'm like, oh, all right, what's up, dude?
God, that's awesome.
Yeah, and to see like it be a ghost town. Like I remember just being in Green Bay. I don't think you walk into a restaurant, they have the roster right behind the menu that they know everybody, and it's just because BC wasn't a big football town. Like it wasn't like that, and that's the part I do miss. I was like, man, I wonder what it was like to be at a crazy football town in Green. I got that from Green Bay, and I had so much fun there and just incredible stuff there. New York was really cool, just from an organizational standpoint, and they done some incredible things to help me and save my career.
And you did win a championship there.
And we did win a Super Bowl there, yeah. Yep. Jacksonville was really cool. It's such an underrated town. Like I honestly, if I got an extension there, we would have bought a house and stayed there. I love that town, but I love experiences. So I love the fact that, when I went to Jacksonville, that organization was starting from scratch. Yeah. I mean, new owner, new general manager, new facility, new uniform, new head coach.
By the way, I don't like the helmets. I don't like those old helmets. Do like coming from black to gold or whatever it was?
I know mine's. I don't have it. Mine's up there right now. Yeah.
Did not like that helmet at all.
Yeah, I was whatever. I was whatever about the teal too. But yeah, all those. But Washington was an interesting experience because I got to see the political side of stuff, which was interesting if you're trying to learn. but also terrible if you're just trying to play football, because that's what made football not fun for me anymore. And when it got to that point, you know, I was living on my own. My family lived in Cali. We bought a house, and I was living on my own out there, dealing with all kinds of BS. And I'm like it's not even worth it for me to go through it like this, you know. So, yeah, Green Bay, I would say it was the best. That was the most fun.
No doubt. So when did you? So you are the wine MVP.
Well, let's get our glasses up because he's probably gonna make fun of.
But is this a good glass? Are these good?
We saw the Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a good glass.
So,
it's got the 122nd U.S. Open, the Country Club on it.
Yeah, this is near BC, right? So this is from the Country Club. We got the new logo on it
in Brookline.
Right?
Yeah. For where you are, it's good because if you spilled it from the if you had a stem glass, it can hit the laptop. So you're good.
Thank you.
You did a post the other day about wine glasses.
I did. I was going to say,
don't trust anybody with these. That's what you said. So
when
that's why I brought these in.
I'm sure you did.
I brought them in because
it's not that I don't trust you as a person. I don't trust you with the stemware. Is that with that glass?
You know,
okay, that's a good way to put it.
You didn't trust yourself. You said that earlier.
No, I said if I'm carrying 3 wine glasses in because Max has a glass over here too. Guess what? One of them's breaking there, and one of them's breaking on the way back. So I'm only gonna have one left after this.
One of the big things in the NFL, and I love how hey, what are you gonna do after the career? And I forget who put the tweet out recently. It was like, hey, picture this: you do one thing, play football. When you leave the facility or whatever, all anybody wants to do is talk about football. And then afterwards, all they want to talk about is what are you going to do next? It's like, wait a minute, for 10, 11, 12 years, all I've tried to do was, one, do my job, keep my job, and continue to keep it the next year. That was the focus. So
it's so hard.
Right. It's so hard. Everybody's there to take your job every year. When did you
job? They're trying to replace you
cheaper and younger. Where did the wine come from? When did you start thinking about this? Because you are an official sommelier. You wanted to say it.
Did we say it right? I wanted to say it, not me. How do we say it?
Some people say sommelier. Some people say I say sommelier.
Sommelier.
That's how I say it.
It sounds like the country.
Yeah, I was okay. So
Sommelier?
I'm gonna go Somalia.
Somalia?
Go with that. Where did you get these skills? Because we're gonna dive into this pretty hard right now. But this is not an easy thing. I mean, I think it's we know if we're drinking a good or bad glass of wine, probably 1 out of 5 times. Dan?
I don't think
I know.
I don't know if we know.
If there's alcohol in it, I'm saying it's pretty good.
The way you can tell you're drinking a good or bad glass is, do you like it?
See, that's a good thing.
Is that the only question on the test to get that license?
I know. No,
no, you are.
That'd be great.
We said that.
It's more so of when you are tasting the wine. It's more so evaluating the structure. Can you get the structure correct? Now,
nope.
So the certifications I have there's multiple schools. So there's a wine and spirit education trust, and this is based out of London. And I have a level 2 certification in that, and I just took my level 3 exam a few weeks ago. And then the highest you can go is 4. I think 4 is diploma. So if I pass this, I got 1 more, and I got diplomacy, and I can actually be a certified educator. The other one is Court of Masters Sommelier, and those are the wizards. Mm-hmm. You have intro, certified, advanced, and then master. Master is a 6% success rate. There's only maybe 250 in the world. And those are the guys that can literally, take a glass, smell it, blah, 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 and they can call
region, year, all that shit.
Country, region, year, varietal.
Wow. Nope.
What about, so are those 2 classes, do you have to go through the first thing to get to the other thing, or you can do one and the other, or you can be certified in both?
They're 2 different classes.
So you don't have to pass one to get to the other one?
No, so WSET is has its own thing. Court of Masters, CMS has its own thing. They're 2 separate schools.
When did this thought come into your head?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, so again, we mentioned the whole hazing thing. When I was in Green Bay, well, first of all, in college, me and Kiwi were roommates at Cabelli, me and Matthias, and he had this cool little wine rack. I didn't know what wines were. We just drank it. By the way, Kiwi's in wine too. And when I got to Green Bay, it was it's a beer town. So I'm the only dude drinking wine. So I was kind of, nervous about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And when I found out like Charles Woodson was like big into wine, I was like, well, they're not going to say nothing to him. Like, that's our dude. You know what I'm saying? So so that made me more comfortable, because he would always, at away trips, he would always take the defensive backs out to dinner. So he would take us to like the best restaurants wherever we played, and he would just, buy really cool wines. I had no idea what they were about. I just knew like they were expensive. So maybe they were good because they were expensive. Who knows? So I enjoyed them. And then I would also go to a bunch of events in like Milwaukee, because that was like our closest city, and go to a lot of corporate events there. I got to know a lot of commercial real estate guys down there, and they also would be at these events, swirling the wine in my face, talking about the pretty legs. And by the way, the legs don't mean a damn thing. So, that's...
Look how well he handles that glass.
Yeah.
I would have shattered that
like
twice by now.
Like a maestro up there.
You silly. So, actually, the wine, it means something if you're trying to evaluate something, but it doesn't mean like syrup has legs. So it's not like the more legs, the better the wine. It's something different.
I have legs. You have legs. What's that movie? Can you milk me?
No.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
Teats. Isn't it teats?
It's a funny scene.
I have teats, Greg.
I mean, the way you're moving that wine around that glass makes me know that you've done that, like, and you have a skill to it. That feels like level 2 class.
So
you can do this.
I know, but then I can.
if-
But then it's going to land on my laptop.
yeah, if he does that, it's going to shoot out like the blood from his vein earlier on from his doctor's
gosh.
appointment.
doctor's appointment. Exactly.
And so I would go to these events, and these guys would talk over my head, and I didn't feel slight about it. I was like, whatever, I'm just trying to learn. And then they would actually invite me to like private dinners with them at restaurants. And I remember this one guy in particular was like, man, this Burgundy wine is so good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it is good. And he was going on and on about it. And then one of my hobbies is I love to like dine by myself. I would go to a restaurant, like give me the experience, and I would people watch like a mother, And I remember I was like, I'm going to order this Burgundy this guy was talking about. So this whole time I'm thinking Burgundy is its own brand. And I remember I ordered the wine. The sommelier brings me the wine. And I look at it. I was like, I said, this isn't Burgundy. He was like, yeah, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. I had Burgundy. I know what it looks like. He was like, dude, this is Burgundy. Because it was white. It wasn't red. And I'm like, this is not Burgundy. We're going back and forth. He's like, okay, sir, listen. Then he explained in French. He explained in French. He basically wanted to say, shut the F up, bro. Like, yeah. And so he explained that in France, the wines are listed by the region. They don't put the grape varietal on the bottle. Like, we got this Meiomi right here. It says Pinot Noir on the bottle. In France, if it's Burgundy and if it's red, it's Pinot Noir. If it's Burgundy and it's a white wine, it's Chardonnay. And you should just know that. That's their law. They never put the grape varietal. So I'm thinking like Burgundy, okay, it's purple like Burgundy, then it's Burgundy, Yeah. I didn't know Burgundy also meant white. So I actually thought that was super interesting and cool, and I wanted to learn more. So I started subscribing to all these magazines and these publications and like all these things. And that's when like I think eventually that documentary called Somm came out about all the master sommeliers that were like training to become a master. And I was like, damn, that is a really cool way of learning how to figure out wine. It was non-subjective, go through it. Is this a quality wine? Was it properly made? Regardless if you like it or not, was this properly made, And that's when after one season, I came back and took a class here. And then after that, I was like hooked. So that's where I started to want to learn more and kind of get more of like education. Then when I came back to Washington during OTAs, we're done, 12 o'clock, we're done with practice and meetings. Mm-hmm. So we have the whole day to ourselves. And I found out that in Virginia, it's actually a really cool wine region in the States. And so I would drive to Leesburg, and they had like a bunch of wineries there. And I actually, after practice, I would go and work on those vineyards. I just saw someone snag their own glass of wine.
It's just Max. He's
from
he's
the corner.
thirsty. He's thirsty.
What's up, man?
What's happening?
So this talk is making me thirsty.
Yep.
And I started working on the vineyards, and I was like, man, that's where I kind of dawned on me. I would like to have my own wine one day. And doing all this research, I would talk to so many people like, what is it like to have your own wine? And they said, look, you can have the best grapes. You can have the best juice, the best winemaker. At the end of the day, like any business, can you sell the product, right? Mm-hmm. So that was it came down to. I was like, man. So I started hanging out at different wine shops, trying to learn like doing case studies, like what are people buying? What is the market like? And it kind of dawned on me, like, you know what? Like I have such a unique network of people, you know, with all my celeb friends, whatever you want to call it, that I can just be a middleman in a sense. You know, like I love helping people. I love connecting. Like that's something I'm really good at. And so that's when I came up, you know, with the wine MVP being a VIP wine concierge. So if you have a cellar, if you want to go on a trip, you know, whatever, for example, I did, you know, first cellar I did was Matt Ryan. I did Matt Ryan. So I know he loved wine. He has a big ass cellar in his house.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Up. Yeah. And I did Reggie Bush's wine cellar, Justin Tuck's wine cellar. I just helped, I set up Josh Allen and Paso Robles, AJ Dillon, BC guy. He went to Napa like a week ago. So just kind of like the middleman for all that stuff.
Well, you're like the product expert rather than the manufacturer, like forcing like your thing on them as a manufacturer. Instead, you're like, no, there's all these awesome things that are out there. And like, let me help you decide, or let me help you pick the ones that you like. Yeah, right.
Tell me what you like, and then I'll tell you what's good or not.
And that way, I always use this analogy. Like, I don't know how to work on like engines of cars, right? But there's somebody that does. So I'm not going to fill my brain with that. That's probably what these guys I would imagine. Like if I was going to have him do this at my place or your place, right, Dan? It's like, we don't want to fill our brain with that. We're asking you the question right now. Like, I'm going to have a steak tonight. What should I pair with this thing? Right? I'm going to have fish. Like, what should I have? What should I have with fish?
Let's start with steak. Let's start with steak, though.
Let's start with steak. Let's actually ask him. Like, what are we doing? We're going to cook a ribeye tonight on the grill. We're going to open a bottle of wine. What do we want to do?
Yeah, so I'm sure you heard before, people always say, oh, you want Cabernet with the steak. Cabernet. Well, right. So basically, you want a big, bold wine with big, bold food. You want to pair those two. Now, why does a Cabernet go well with the steak?
No idea.
Yeah, this is where we're going to get educated.
That's right. This is the education.
Yeah. So why does it? Well, okay, so when you sip wine, so you won't really, right now we have a Pinot Noir, you won't really feel it as much. But you know, when you swish your wine around, you get like that grippy feeling in your mouth, like your lips stuck to your gums or teeth. Well, those are the tannins, right? And so a way to soften those tannins is with the ribeye, all that marbling, all the fat, like it'll actually soften the tanning so that now when you have wine with the ribeye, it's not going to be as grippy. It'll be way more smooth and also has enough weight, enough body to go well with the steak. So that's why they pair well together.
We are going to wow.
That's fantastic.
We are going to wow somebody with that answer someday.
I'm going to have to rewind that and play that back.
And then people are like, okay, well, where do the tannins come from? Well, the tannins come from because they ferment the juice with the skin. So you have a bit like the skin of a grape and it's like grippy like that or kind of bitter. Yep. It comes from the skin, it comes from the seeds because they ferment it all. They extract all the characteristics and the color from all that. And that's how you get all the structure from the Cabernet grapes. Where Pinot Noir is actually a lighter grape. It's a thinner skin grape. So you're not going to get that kind of structure from that.
What about a Merlot?
You did it on purpose.
So what's
like? Oh, you weren't there when Coach O'Brien. We were playing. I forget where we were. Gosh, we were at a bowl game. Maybe you were there, and instead of saying Yosemite, he said, "All right, guys, we're gonna go to the Yosemite room."
Oh, I don't know. What was the last one? Oh, we were in Detroit, I think.
Motor City. I think it was.
And
Motor City.
Was that it?
Yeah, he said you're gonna go to the Yosemite.
That's awesome. I wish I would remember that.
Dan knows enough that it's Merlot. He knows
it is. It's Merlot. Yeah, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite wine that you like to drink, or is it depending on what you're eating, or what time of day, or
exactly? It depends on what I'm eating. It depends on what time of day. It depends on what mood. Now, the one thing I can always have, I can always have champagne when in doubt.
Oh, like I would think that's something totally different. I would say think that wine and champagne.
You're on an island, if like you're on an island and you can have one thing, what would it be? I was like, at my temperature, like I could have champagne any time of the day.
Is Prosecco the same thing as champagne?
So basically the category is sparkling wine.
Okay.
Right.
Champagne's France, right?
Right. So exactly, champagne is a type of sparkling wine. Prosecco, type of sparkling wine. Cava, Cremant, all types of sparkling wine. Prosecco. So the difference is, with champagne, the champagne method is actually made, and then there's a second fermentation that happens like in a bottle. Like there's different techniques where Prosecco is like fermented, I believe, in the tank. So there's two different methods to create the carbonation that they're looking for. And also with champagne, the rule is it can only be called champagne if it's made in Champagne, France.
Okay.
That's
I think I heard that once before.
Yeah, otherwise
Champagne sneaks up on me. It's sneaky. Yeah.
No, but here's
Sneaks
the
up
trick though. Here's the trick though. If you want champagne and you don't want to spend like a grip, like a lot of money, then on the label, look for one that will say either traditional method. It'll say, sparkling wine, traditional method, or sparkling wine, champagne method, or method champenois, meaning that it's made the same way as champagne. It's just not from Champagne, France.
Now, were you doing cigars too? I saw something with cigars.
Yeah, I definitely got into cigars the past, which I'm so mad about, dude, because the 2 times I should have had a damn cigar, I didn't.
Super Bowl?
Which two
Super
times?
Bowl?
Super Bowl?
Our wedding and the Super Bowl.
I had one. I had one during the Super Bowl for you, and I had plenty during the one. Actually, no, not during the one that you won.
No,
but a few others for sure. So that's that feels like a very Rhode Island thing, right? I mean, I've been in Rhode Island for a while now. I'm in.
What's a Rhode Island thing?
A very glass of wine and a cigar.
Is it really?
Glass of red and a cigar, very Italian.
Where you
very,
on Federal Hill? You on Federal Hill?
Well,
right
that's
now?
what I mean. Like
you
Federal Hill, or like you come down East Greenwich now, we got the cigar bar down there. Like
There's 2 of them.
That's all you
There's
see
2 of
is
them.
bottles of red and cigars, and then you see it on the golf course a lot. But if you were gonna pick a bottle of wine, Dan, and I'll pick a bottle of wine, do you have a go-to that you pick? And then I want to know if he knows it, would rate it. It's good. It's bad.
By the way, I'm terrible with brands. I'm great with varietals.
All right, I've got my favorite, but I've only had it probably like 5 times.
Okay, what is it?
No, I do. It's Heights Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, Heights Martha's Vineyard is legit.
That's my favorite, and I've only had it 5 times because it's really expensive, and I don't subscribe to. Hey, you have to buy a crap or like a shit ton of money to get a good bottle of wine. I don't subscribe to that, but I've had it from a buddy the first time, and then I had it with my wife on her first date, trying to impress her. And then
so this is really exclusive.
And then I think we have it once a year now at our Christmas dinner that we go to. So,
all right.
You're the second person who just told me that. Whitney Merciless is the other one who likes Heights Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, he makes more money than me. He could probably drink it more often.
No, but what's the everydayer? Do you have an everydayer? You pick up a few bottles, you do the Drizzly order. Get it to the house.
I personally like.
By the way, you know about Drizzly?
Oh yeah, Drizzly came to the house every other week during quarantine.
Yeah, but you know the story.
No, I don't know the story of it. I just know that they deliver it.
I don't even know what Drizzly is.
Oh, they deliver it to the house.
Oh,
it's the alcohol delivery company.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
BC guys.
Oh, are they?
Are they really?
Yeah, just sold it to Uber for $1.1 billion.
Yeah,
what did they graduate with, me or you?
After both of us.
Yeah, they're 19.
Oh, that's smart.
They just left school. Yeah.
God, why'd we play football, Will?
What's yours?
I mean, if I go with everyday wine, I've got it behind me. I drink Decoy.
Decoy, yeah.
Decoy, just every day, like that's you grab 4 bottles or 6 bottles, but like
so that's the sister brand of Duckhorn.
Yep. And that's what I was gonna say. The next, like the Duckhorn's the next level, kind of in terms of like
keep
price
it in the family.
point. I like Duckhorn.
Every day I'm gonna go Noble Vines.
Okay.
Noble Vines Cab. I think it's like a 1951.
Well, we got the
I don't even know.
Grab the Decoy bottle. Let's show the Decoy bottle. Let's give a free ads.
Look at that.
So the Decoy. This is like all day for me here. If you buy 6 bottles of that, put it there.
And it's approved by the wine MVP.
Yeah, so it's approved. That's huge.
It's approved. Yeah.
But like if a big restaurant wine, like where somebody wants to pull it, like a Camus or something like that. I mean, but again though, I don't know if I drink wine plenty, but I don't know if I really can necessarily appreciate the difference between the two. Where somebody like you really probably gets it.
But here's the thing. I tell people, like, when you go to a restaurant and it's a really nice restaurant and they have a sommelier, the last thing you need to do is try to act like you know what to get. Like if you're gonna go to a restaurant with a really rad like wine list, like don't go searching to try to like find the best wine to like get some. If they have someone there, the best way to impress is let the sommelier do his job.
Ask him. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Stay humble. Let someone else, let the expert take care of it.
Yeah. So I remember for my wife's birthday, we were playing the Giants in New York, and she flew out to the game, and we stayed in town because I wanted to go into the city, and we went to the Polo Bar in New York. And I remember we went down, and at this time I'm pretty, I know wine a little bit, more than I used to, more than most of my friends. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy do his thing. And so he showed up, and he was, I mean, absolutely incredible. Just his whole style, his whole, like, what he knew, how he presented it. And he's like, what can I get you? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I said, we're going to have this. Like, what do you think? And he's like, well, I recommend this. I'll explain all the details. And I literally put my arm around my wife. And we sat back here, and he just explained all these things. And we got to enjoy the experience together.
Right.
That's what it was. Like, let them do that. If there's someone on site, let them do their job.
I like it.
I like that a lot. Like, let them do it. It's the car thing.
Yeah. Even when you go shopping, you're like, because first of all, if you go to a liquor store, like, they're bored, dude. Like, ask them if they want to help, let them help you. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let Will Blackmon do his job as the wine MVP.
Absolutely. So you have a delivery thing. Tell us about
concierge, all that stuff.
You guys, you have a club. You have a wine of the month.
Actually, really
right?
quick though.
Yeah.
So the reason why, because you asked me, Dan, like, hey, pick a wine that we all can get from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I picked the famous Meiomi, right? And it's
good.
And the interesting thing about this is, like, everyone's like, oh, they're drinking Meiomi. I was like, okay, well, here's the one. This thing is, like, everyone likes it. It's a popular thing. It's very, like, commercial friendly. It's just very, like, fruity and, like, juicy and stuff like that. But the story with Meiomi is it's actually made by Joe Wagner. Joe Wagner is the son of Chuck Wagner. Chuck Wagner makes Camus.
Oh, there you go.
And so the Wagner family, they're the ones that do, like, the Camus, and they have a ton of wine, but that's the one who does it. And then Joe actually made this, and he sold this brand to Constellation, which is a huge distribution company, for $300 million.
So Chuck said to Joe, "You're not taking any of my money. You have to make your own.
Make your own, but here's a recipe."
Yeah, exactly. You could just sell it for a lower but
Joe
makes
makes a ton of stuff. He makes a ton of stuff. The daughter makes a ton of stuff. Like, they just kill it. But this is all part of the Camus tree.
I did not know it was in the family.
I just went to Haxton's. You probably remember Haxton's from Rhode Island days, right? I popped down there today. I was like, do you guys have a Meiomi? And then the guy was pulling out cases of it. There was nothing on the thing. He goes, I don't know what the hell's going on, but in the last couple months, I can't keep the cases of this stuff here. I just rolled it out. Here it is. That'll be gone this afternoon. I said, I need it for a wine tasting for a podcast. Here's our card. Go listen to it. But yeah.
Here's the trick. Here's the trick too, is if you decide to make your own wine, keep it at that price point. I don't know. I think I spent like 17 on mine. And also screw cap.
Yeah. Hey.
This is Dan just gonna pull a fat. We got the cork and everything.
We got an opener for that one. The opener didn't work on that.
Screwed off.
So you try to cork a screw cap?
Oh yeah.
Just at the beginning. It looked the same. It looked like a cork. I'm going around with it. I was like, this doesn't feel right. And then it just twisted off. It's a lot easier. It's more convenient.
Yeah. It's much better. I like it. Pour smooth.
And by the way, screw cap does not mean cheap.
That's true. I've heard that before too.
Because I think it's New Zealand that I think almost 80% of their wine production is screw cap. All of it, it's just a winemaker's choice. Actually, screw cap preserves the wine longer.
Is it true? Because I've heard. I don't know if they make an excuse, but I've heard maybe it's a fib. There's a shortage on cork. Is that true?
News to me.
I'm swear to God.
No. You're in the beverage industry. First, that's a strong possibility. Also, too, like some companies do like synthetic, and maybe they bleach them a little bit. And I think sometimes if the wine hits the bleach, it could cork the wine a little bit. So. No, that's not fair, because I do see a lot of synthetic corks too, which is actually cheaper. So again, a winemaker's choice.
But it does not matter for quality.
What about having the wine touch the cork? Is that a thing? You have to do that?
Yes, you wanna store it on the side.
Okay.
Because you want to keep it in contact with the cork. And what happens is if the cork gets too dry, then air can get into the bottle
Yeah,
and
that's not good.
end up oxidizing your wine. So as long as you keep the contact with the wine into the cork, then it'll keep it nice and firm.
Got it.
Keep it closed.
Always wondered that. Never knew why that was the case. So we've learned a lot.
We've learned a lot.
We're learning a lot. Well, we got to ask some Gatorade questions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We ask everybody the Gatorade question. It's a recurring question for all the guests. Favorite color Gatorade? I know we're talking wine. We've already asked favorite color wine. Favorite color Gatorade that you like?
I forget the flavor. I'm gonna look it up. But it's the glacier ice. Is that what it is?
God.
We knew it. we like the originals.
No.
Most people pick the originals.
It's between glacier and gosh, what was the melon one?
Oh my gosh!
I don't know.
Two terrible choices.
Kiwi, strawberry, lemon, and lime. I don't know.
No, we like red, orange, or yellow.
Yeah, they're colors. They're not
Man,
flavors.
y'all are terrible.
I'm gonna go with red.
Yeah. Dan's red. I'm yellow. A lot of people pick
Listen,
red, yellow, or
go-
orange.
Look,
Listen,
your palate is way too
By the way,
sophisticated.
No,
his palate's totally different.
What the hell?
No,
That's
What are you sticking your nose in it
Go
too?
to the store and get Fierce Melon.
Nope.
It will change your goddamn
Oh
life.
no, I don't know about that. Well, at least
I'm telling you.
we have to make a whole new section on the board now, Max, for Fierce Melon Gatorade.
I didn't know.
See who
I didn't know
selects
there
that.
was that section.
Yeah, no, there isn't. There
Well,
isn't
you
in my
fear-
mind. It's okay.
My
Fierce
friend,
Melon.
thank you for coming on with us. You taught us a lot, and go check out the Wine MVP. He will hook you up with what you need.
Just follow me at Will Blackman and just stay tuned. That's all you need to do.
There we go.
Ooh, I
Go
like that.
anywhere. Just
like
go
it.
to at Will Blackman on all social media platforms and just stay tuned.
I like it.
Ooh, there's something coming then. I like it. It's good.
By the way, I got some cool scotch here.
Oh, that's good.
Oh wait, last thing now.
Some
Another
Glen
last
Mirage-
question for me.
Glen Mirage, what's up?
I was going to ask this when you were talking about it. Do you try? Are you going to try to be one of the top 250 people? Because you have the professional athlete background, right? So you're going to want to be a winner, right? So do you want to be in that category of like? Are you going to want to be in that category of the top 200 people in the world that can like test wine and taste wine?
That sounds funny. You want to be a winner.
Well, you want to be like the
Listen,
champ, right? I mean, that sounds like it's impossible to do.
yeah, but
by the way.
you know what's crazy is I think like I know I can turn it on and turn it off. Like I'm not one of those guys where I'm competitive 365. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be successful. I want to do well, but I'm not over here like, oh, maybe now in terms of trying to break barriers and be different, then I do notice that, or I don't know any African-American master sommeliers.
Right.
I don't know any. So if there is a competitive driving force in that regards, I think that would be pretty badass for me to go from that to be that. Yeah. And you know, it could, I know some guys, it's taken them 10 years to pass it. Cause I think if you fail a certain part, you got to wait a whole year to take it again.
Jeez.
So I don't know. Every Monday right now, I am training with a master sommelier just for the tasting portion. But yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, after I told you guys tannins, acidity. These are things you should know. So if you are hanging out with somebody and they're like, man, this wine has great acidity, you're like, what the hell does that mean, right? So if you
don't hang out with those people.
I'm saying if you are, or if a sommelier, if you go to a restaurant and they're like, oh, if you get this wine has great acidity, and I'm like, well, how the hell do I judge that? You know,
Right.
It's basically if you take a sip and you swish it around and swallow the wine and just let your mouth like hang for a bit, it's the watery feeling. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So think of like you're gonna eat a bag of Sour Patch Kids, your glands start to water like mine on right now.
Yep.
Like that's the acidity part.
I was thinking about the feeling you get before you yak on that watery feeling. Same type of thing.
Yeah.
After the jungle juice. Yeah.
This was educational.
I love it.
I feel smarter already. We really appreciate you coming on, Will. That was awesome. So thank you very much.
The Wine MVP.
Wine
ladies and
MVP.
gentlemen.
Well,
Thank you
follow
much.
Will
Thank you very much.
Follow
Absolutely.
Will Blackman.
All social platforms at
Absolutely.
Will Blackman.
At Will Blackman, indeed. Appreciate you guys.
Past Our Prime is brought to you by Squad Locker. Squad Locker is your one-stop shop for custom team apparel, delivered right to your front door. Learn more by visiting squadlocker.com.